Good morning, and welcome back. It's been a while. I honestly can't remember where we got up to. I think we're up to piece editing, all the UI around that. But what can I say? Life's kind of got in the way recently. Go pull up the old project. We can go have a quick look. Oops. They're not called build. What did I call it? Called it run. There we go. So, got our menu. We've got our minimally functioning game. And if I run it again, we've added an edit button that currently takes you to a page that does nothing. Sweet. The plan is to come up with some UI and make it so you can edit a piece. I haven't thought really at all about what that's going to look like. Maybe Scala draw it. Scala draw work. Oh, it's very bright. I make you less bright. There we go. All right. So we've got our window. So I'm imagining that a game will have a setting of up to 8 pieces, I guess. Maybe we do like 1, 2. Can I select both of them? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we show like a little preview of your piece in there. And then the one that you've got selected, I don't know, maybe it gets like a highlight color on it. So you're editing this piece. And then it gets shown over here in a, what would it be? 5x5? I have to remind myself what my actual like program's doing. But I think it'll be 5x5. Oh my goodness, that's not what I wanted. There we go. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And similarly, we do across like that. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 4, 5. And this should then show what's filled. So like that one's filled, that one's filled, and that one's filled. And it should show our rotation point. And I guess do we want like a save button over here? Which will then update the value in the thing here. And I'm going to assume that what we have is one kind of like live config. Right, we're not going to save these out to a list or anything yet. We're just going to update the config that's in memory for the current game. Every time you leave and come back, we have to do it again. Yeah, I think that's probably a good place to start. I do not remember how I've done all my button code so far. So there's going to be a fair bit of jank, I think, get this to work. This is reality of little side projects like this that, I don't know, life got busy. And it kind of fell by the wayside. But we'll get back on the horse now. This doesn't sound that hard. We can work this out. Okay. I guess one thing to say, I don't know, whenever I have a bit of a break from like recreationally programming, I kind of want to get back into it, but I don't know, you know, you kind of get out of the habit of something and you like lose momentum with it. So I've been fiddling with my Emacs config as a sort of like an easy on ramp, which does mean that there's a good chance stuff's going to break as we're doing things. But if you just bear with that, hopefully we can sort things out as they come up. But it does mean I now have a nice vertical completions. So that's fun. I'm just putting it off now. What do we need to do? I've added an edit. Where would that be accessed from? Right, so we come into main. We have our main loop somewhere down here. We do game, update game. This is about updating our kind of like state. This is about, well, I guess this is about updating our state and handling user inputs. This is about drawing. What is this? And this, I think, is me fixing the FPS to something like 60 frames per second. So is this what I'm after? Game update, takes in game, and depending on the screen you're on, does some stuff. Yeah, okay, so our game has logic that needs to run at the start of each frame. I don't think that's true on our edit screen, so I don't think we'll be adding anything to that. At least not at this point. Probably means there's going to be a bunch of stuff in here. Yeah, I've left it to do. He's starting to get a bit gnarly. Should I pull those out into some functions? Ooh, quite a lot in it now. My hard-coded pieces, nice. We are going to need default values still, aren't we? Okay. As a first easy thing, I might pull those things out into some procs. Just to this chunk of code a bit easier to get around. So what is this actually doing? Game populate entities. What do I call it? Helpful that I have game screen game screen populate entities, I guess I'll call it. If I grab that, grab all of that, bang it in there, jumping back up to there. What do you have then? Need game. Is that all I needed? Right, and then if we go to the end, then this one can just game. God. Screen populate entities for game. That's the best way to do this. Oh, that's a point. All my formatting's going to be wrong, isn't it? Here we go. Alright, I might just do that quickly for each of these, because this is all a bit of a mess. TBH. So this would be main menu screen populate entities. Menu screen populate. Pretend I remember how to write this language. It'd be a fair bit of that as well. I haven't written much Odin off stream. And then we'll have edit screen, populate entities. game. That's hard to do. I might just do a quick rebuild. Just to be certain. Yeah, so it's not broken. Nice. Did I leave any other to-dos? Yeah, a couple. One in the renderer that we're not going to look at the minute. What are you in? Game handle event. Yeah, so this is... What is this? This is handling mouse and keyboard events in our... what's it called? We store a buffer of user inputs, and then after frame automatic inputs, we then do all your user inputs for that frame. Do we just do the same thing here? So, main menu, handle event. And we'll just have it go game event. Then we'll go yoink. All of this. We'll say main menu, handle event, game event. Come up here, stick it in there. Crying because I've not told it it's a procedure. Easy peasy. Factor it back. Yeah, we can make a to-do one. This would be edit, handle event, game and event, learning. You're just a to-do. Give you your types. You're a pointer to game. You're an event. I wonder if we should have had a naming convention for things that are pointers. I've tended to not use kind of naming conventions for things like that, because I guess the type tells you anyway, right? Like I can come here and hover it, and it'll tell me it's a pointer down at the bottom. So let's go with that. And we'll have a game. What can we call game? It's called game screen. Handle event. Sure, these are all had screen in the name. For consistency. Possibly. Let's go in here. We'll grab all of this, remembering how Emacs works. Game screen handle event. Or game and event. Nice. I think that makes it slightly easier to grok. We might want to start splitting some of these into different files just for ease of moving around. Yeah, like these definitely shouldn't be in here, right? But I don't know. That sounds boring at the same time. Right, so yeah, they're called game screen. Edit screen and populate. Yeah, I think I should have called these main menu screen event just for consistency. Edit screen handle event, game screen handle event, and blown up down here. Main menu screen and edit screen. Rebuilds, and it's happy. Cool. Let's do a little tidying commit. Right. right. I guess the first thing to do would be to stick our entities in. Would be the first to do up here. Right, so this is how we actually say when I want to draw one of these, put one of what am I even saying? When I want to draw this screen, what things am I going to put on the screen? We have a thing called button entity. I don't remember. Let's go give that a look. Button entity returns an entity. OSDIM clickable type on click and a button data that has a string. So yeah, this is a text button. I guess might be a fairer way to say it. Can we do a little renaming for you text button data? I can't remember how to jump back in my Emacs config. God damn it. Back to here, and I guess do the same rename on this one to say you're a text button entity. Didn't work everywhere. Go find where button entity, button defined in there. Just forget to write it. Go. Because we're now going to have a piece button that is also a button, but is different. So go ahead and commit that rename. To keep ourselves out of our own way. Go for do's again. Reload the language server because I think I got confused. Right, we need a piece button entity. A lot of this stuff's going to be the same, right? So it needs a position and a dimension, so it knows where it is and how big it is. Does it need a string? I'm not convinced it needs a string. It needs a piece, I think. I don't remember what types are on piece. Piece has filled bounding dim rot center. So actually, I don't think it needs a whole piece. This is the piece that's required for the game logic, right? That's not what we need here. We literally just need filled. Curious if I've actually just repeated that all over the shop. I have to say piece width times piece. Might probably find it. I know that can't be right because I'm looking at one. Grab that. Regex for that. There I'm looking at. Does underscore mean something in regex? It might do actually. Want to be quoted? No. Can't be that. Can be because of that. I have used the type already a couple times. Should we put out a type for that then? Come in here and we'll say piece data. Do we have a keyword for type? Odin. Type alias. String type conversion doesn't sound like what I'm after. Type alias. You can alias a named type with another name. Distinct types. Allows for the creation of a new type with the same underlying semantics. Aggregate types will always be distinct even when named. Insert foo not equal to that. Okay, do I want a distinct type or do I just want a type alias? I think I just want a type alias. Right, I don't need it to be super strict. I literally just want to be able to say I just want to be not copy pasting that everywhere. Basically. Do that. Are these ones? While they are. Piece data. I do the same rep from before. It just finds that one. Nice. My God. We're doing now then. So I've got my piece data. I want to put that on my button. So you're not using that. You're using this to know what has been filled. I suppose means we should make that clear here. Hovered might care about. On click we will care about. But let's just draw our grid for now. Return an entity with pos equals pos, dim equals dim. What else goes on with this? Just bang all that in. Okay. Piece. Pos. Pos. Oh my God. There we go. Dim is dim. Clickable false for now. You a null or a nil language? Yeah, you're a nil language. These I've not used yet, so let's go find our entity type. Rename you to text button. Have a piece button. Entity data, piece button, entity data. Text button, entity data. Grid entity data. Game panel entity data. We stick with the text button. Keep them in order. Piece button. Entity data is a struct, which I think will just have piece data. That on it. So now this can be equal to piece button data can be equal to piece button entity data with have I done that wrong? Like that, right? I believe so. Unhandled switch case in draw entity. We've not told it yet how to actually draw the thing, but that's good. That's found the next thing we need to update. Let me come in here. Case piece button. Draw text button. Did work. Oh, damn it. I suck at this. I'll make a draw piece button. Take that entity. Draw piece button. Draw take our entity. We will pull out and cast our data so we have access to it. I think for now, what we'll do is I'll just draw. Do I have green? I do have green. Oh no. Why have I jumped? Draw entity. I would like to draw a rectangle just so we can get things in roughly the right place, right? That's a good question. Where do you need to sit? As UI text background? What should we make new ones? We'll say UI piece background. What I might do. The reason to make these floats is that you can make them all arbitrarily differentiated, right? UI piece background. Why? Piece Z. These. There's probably a nicer way to do this. But we're not doing ordered draws. We've got a Z buffer, a depth buffer that we're using. So we need to give everything a depth so that when we shunt everything through, it knows what to draw on top of what. Okay, get back to where we were. You can now draw UI piece background Z. So let's just draw a piece button. Not actually drawing any of it yet, though. Because we're not populating this screen with anything. Right? Now, I haven't done anything clever for layout. To be honest, what we're about to draw is also so fixed and hard-coded, I'm tempted to not do anything clever again. And just continue with this just gross. Do the maths and put it where I say. Shall we start by just putting a button in so we know we've not made any mistakes. Entity push. Piece, button, entity. So the arguments pos dim. So your position will be, I don't know, 0.5. No, because you need to be type pos. Pos x equals 0.5, y equals 0.5. Like that. dim, width 0.1, height equal to 0.2. Do a bit of breaking up over different lines. A little hard to read. No. Oh no. What have I done? Can we jump back to there, please? Thank you. Why have I got a bracket there? Because it matches to that. Okay. What am I missing? It wants piece data. Can we give it piece 1? Why can't I complete that? Piece 1 dot filled. That's what I'm after. That's not completing. It really wants to be on 1 line. Okay. We do that. That means when this screen gets drawn, I should see a green rectangle get drawn. I do not. Why do I not? Edit on click sets game screen to edit, as it should. Then that's in my in populate entities. Where are you called? Yeah, so that gets called. My game now says that I'm in the new state, so I should come into here. I push piece button. Entity, which gives me an entity called a piece button. We jump to uses of view. Have something in drawable. Calls draw piece button, which should draw us a rectangle. Check and see if we're getting into here. Okay, so we are getting into there. Am I just providing stupid values? Possible. I'm just telling it to do something really daft. Draw rect green. Let's dim. That's a number between 0 and 1. Nothing else is drawn. God damn it, that looks like it should work. And yet... So what else could be going wrong? So when we do that, that should put something in drawables, right? So if you've not been keeping up with the series, my kind of gross solution to how we're going to handle all these things is I just have these global buffers. And so the game state generates a set of entities that know where they are on the screen and what they relate to in the game. Those entities then generate drawables that no longer really know what they were. Like, we're past the game logic now. We're just drawing shapes on the screen. But that's kind of the level they're at, right? They're at, like, I want to draw the letter T here, and it be this big. And drawables generates our like vertices and indices that we send to the graphics card. So is it worth just checking that our drawable count goes up? So we're in here. Can I do format, print line, drawable count? Can we make you uppercase? That's the wrong command. Grab that. I can do that. And get draw the balls. We'll draw rect. We're in here. Drawables count after. Yeah. So we are getting a drawable. Do my position and dimension just not make sense? Because that seems quite possible. So go find what we call this. I assumed these were fractions of the screen. Have I not done them as fractions of the screen? Are you like this? Ah, you aren't fractions of the screen. Interesting. Why did I do that? Is it because I didn't want things resizing as I dragged the screen around? Interesting choice, past Matt. Okay. How am I doing things when I need to know what the screen size is then? I just map that to get the surface dimensions and then do stuff in terms of them when I need to do it in terms of them. Interesting. What am I doing in here? Start button, pause and dim. Button dimensions are fixed. Right, so I've got a screen that readjusts the position but doesn't readjust the size of the buttons. Alright, I see what you were doing, Matt. So, what does that mean then? Go piece button dim will be equal to dim some width. Is this going to get more interesting than the other one because you actually might be in a different screen size where these don't fit. Alright, I don't know. Let's make them 150 by 150. So we're in there. You do this. This will be piece, a button, a dim. So what we're going to do, that probably is about as small as I want that, right? I put this, I'm going to make a grid of 8. And then I'm going to draw the pieces into them, and then we'll work out how we make them clickable in a bit. That will give us kind of a panel that will be fixed size, and then we'll fit this grid over here to fit the rest of that screen, and I think we call that good. Ay, ay, ay. I'm going to leave myself to do next to say, what did I just say? I want to draw 8 piece buttons in a 2x4 grid on the right of the screen. I'm saying a fixed width 2x4 grid on the right of the screen. We're going to assume the buttons fit. So if your window is too short, then we don't care. We're going to put our save button as well. I think in my sketch I just did, I put it nya. I wonder if actually, for simplicity, what we should do is we should put that here. Then the grid can fill that space. Right, so we then have, like, this section will make this fixed width, and then we'll make this fit, while staying square. I don't hate that, I think. So we're going to draw 8 buttons in a fixed width on the right of the screen with a save button underneath. Cool. I'm out of tea. So I'm going to do a quick save and go grab some tea. Is that worth a quick commit? We did move a bunch of stuff around. Should we just do a quick checkpoint commit so we don't lose all of that? Yeah. Work in progress towards peace buttons. Alrighty. I'll be back in 1 minute. I was longer than a minute. I went for a coffee instead of a tea. I bought a mocha pot for Christmas. Really enjoyed it. Very tasty. Apologies for the audible slow. I assume that was audible. I don't know, it was quite near the mic. Okay, where are we up to? I check that I am recording. I am recording. Need to do this grid. Now, what I said, make it a fixed width. Put it on the right of the screen. Neither of those is hard. Do we want to do a bit of maths to work out how big these things can be? Like, should I define a gap height? And then we can say what it's the height of the screen minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gap heights is our available space. Divide that by 5 to get the button height. I remember what it was, but I definitely had a thing up here. This thing, which I will yoink. If it works, use it again. Okay, so we've got our surface dim that tells us how big the window is. Our piece button dim. Also going to need a text button dim. Inya. Oh, we need an exit button as well, aren't we? Otherwise, what are you going to do when you get to the end of your thing? All right, let's add it down here. So it's not that, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let me go and say gap height. I'm going to with a gap width as well. I might. I think that's misleading though, because they're not going to be used in the same place. So I'm not going to call it a dim, I'm going to call it vertical gap. And let's make it 10 just for now. I'm going to say here side panel width, I guess. Panel doesn't make sense on its own, does it? Side panel width, make this thing 400 wide. And I'm going to have a horizontal gap of, I don't know what, 5. Our piece button, rearrange this slightly, will have a width. Should we just keep 150? Do they need to be square? I wasn't going to make them square, I was going to make them stretch. Maybe they should be square, though. Okay, let's make them stretch for now. So, piece button dim height will be what? Surface dim dot height minus so it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minus 7 times vertical gap. That's kind of available vertical space divided by what? The number of these things, which is 6. Your problem. Mismatched types. Who's an int? You're an int. Really? These don't massively update their type? Because you boys are floats. That'll be what it is. There we go. That's more like it. Text button dim. Width, I'm going to make piece button dim dot width times 2 plus the horizontal gap. Height, I'm going to make piece button dim dot height. So the button will stretch the full width, both of the piece buttons, including the gap between them. Text button height is the same as the whatchamacallit height. Shall we see how that's looking? Does that look a reasonable size? Even plumbed in. As a position. Piece button dim. How would I know if that's worked if I switch that mode? Edit. Yeah, there we go. See? It's changing size. That's pretty fun. And then what I'm imagining is we'll show the piece inside there, and we can either make the piece stretch to fill the thing, because it's not game sensitive that you can judge it. It just needs to be kind of so you know which one you're affecting. Or we can have it pick the shorter of the two dimensions and be square in that amount, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if that did make sense. I didn't do a good job explaining that. But it's not important. So we're going to keep going. Edit screen, populate these entities. Where are we at then? We've got piece button dim, we've got text button dim. Should we then say start from the bottom and we'll draw toward the top? So we'll draw our text button first. So we're going to have an exit button. Pause will be equal to pause. Your X position, I think, if I've been consistent, the position will be the bottom left corner. Which doing things from the right is slightly awkward. Means I'm going to have surface dim minus text button dim. Ah! Is there some centering to do? Panel width is that. Why have I got my pieces having a constant width? I'm thinking about this too hard. Right, if my pieces have a constant width, they want to make as much use of the panel as possible, right? So actually, if I'm defining a panel width, and I think defining a panel width makes sense, because like, it gives me one number I can tweak to easily change things. In future, we might even add like a click to drag that bar to change it yourself. That kind of might be nice. The piece button dim, instead of being a hard-coded value, we make use side panel width minus the horizontal gap, because we want to leave a gap between the two. Horizontal. Oh my god, horizontal gap. Divide that by 2. Again, U, sir, should be an F32, not a P, an F, to make it happy. So now my buttons fill the side panel. I include the horizontal gap on the edges as well. That 3 times. We have a text button dim, width and height. Exit button pos will then be at surface dim minus vertical gap. Surface dim dot width, put it right over in the bottom right, minus the side panel width, pull it all the way across, plus a single horizontal gap. I'll drag it back in a little bit. Your Y will be a single vertical gap. Let's see, entity push, exit button. So this will be a text button. Entity with exit button pos, exit button dim. Have a bunch of stuff in it. A string that says exit. Hovered, which I'll make false for now. Click. Nil. Why are you not happy? I haven't got exit button dim. So I have text button dim because they have the same dimensions. Why are you not happy? You're not going to tell me. You pos dim string because it needs to be cast to that. I wonder why I did that. No? Transmute to a slicer U8. No. Cannot transmute untyped expression. Sir, you're a string. As exits runtime thing. Here, can I say exit? Defined to be exit. Then that works. That feels silly. Okay, so that should give me an enormous exit button. Nice. That may be excessive. If I click it. Ah, do I have handling? Cool. Look at all those drawables. Why is it 5? Because drawables is the individual letters. So EXIT is 4. The rectangle is 5. We probably don't need that noisy printing anymore, do we? It's not in there. It'll be in draw. Bin new. Check it still works. Rectangle. Button that does nothing. Nice. Righty then. Boys. Where are we up to? So we sack that off. That's our text button entity. Let's have save stir is save. Our save button pos will be equal to pos. Now we have a choice. We do it relative to the exit button. So do we say it's exit button plus a thing? Or do I do it more explicitly as well, so I guess the X value is the same, right? So surface. I'm going to do everything relative to exit button. I think that the two of these do want to be related. Why? Exit button pos dot y plus vertical gap. Like that. And then we can just push another one of these in nya. For save button pos text button dim dodgy transmute. Probably does want tidying, but I keep saying that. We'll do it one day. Typed it wrong. It's not gone yellow. Save stir. You should have lined up. What have I missed? That bracket. You're not hovered. You're not anything. That's not written correctly. There we go. And edit. Hey. Well, we balls that up, didn't we? Your Y is wrong. Because that's the bottom exit button. So actually, it should be at exit button pos dot y plus exit button plus text button dim dot h. There it is. They do nothing. But that is fine. Should I actually wire up my callbacks to just print for now? I think the callbacks are going to be more interesting in this grid. They're going to need a bit of thinking, I think. I think. Smart one I am. Date. Where have I put all these callbacks for these other things? Piece data. Initial state, init game. Game populate entities. Where's my menu? Screen populates entities. These ones have these on them. Where am I defining them though? Currently in game.odin. Still in game.odin. They're just in a big blob. Okay, we probably make that neater as well. I think let's get this layout sorted. Let's get to a point where clicks are printing something to differentiate different buttons from each other. Then I think it might finally be time to go back and tidy where things live, because this is getting too chaotic for my liking. Right. Go ahead and call it like edit save on click can be a proc. Don't think it changes anything in the game state. At least not yet. And it will format print line. Edit save clicked. And edit exit on click. Proc that will have this. I assume I've got those just to fit some interface I've defined. Edit exit clicked. Very nice. Right. Where are we? Then we're back up here. I can make you say edit, exit on click. We can make you say edit, save on click. Go into edit, give it a click, and it does nothing. That's interesting. And my buttons work. Is it that things don't work unless they're hovered? Dodgy. All right. Text button entity just has on click on it. Where does that get used? Entity on click is nil, unreachable. Entity dot game. Why is it done twice? Ah. Right. Okay. I think I remember this. I think my handling for mouse events is basically the same across both of these and is just repeated. Mouse event data. Hang on. So can we just say over here then? Handle mouse event be a proc. We'll take a mouse event of type mouse event. What do I actually do? So if mouse event dot type is not a press, we just return entity in entity buffer. So for all the entities, if not entity clickable, continue. If not is hovered, entity pause, entity dim, we continue. If entity on click is nil, currently we blow up. That's good to know. Same if I click my grid in We're looking game screen. Hang on. Entity on. Click. Game. Don't have access to game. Alright, let's pass in game. Enter to game. Before we do that, if I go here, I launch this and I click. I wonder why that is then. What does this hovered check actually do? If is hovered. It takes the cursor position and compares it to. Yeah, that makes sense. Can we just take all of this and change it out for handle, mouse, event, game. Oh, hang on, we had to think to grab mouse event. Event.data.mouse event. Can we go doop, handle, mouse, event, game, and event.data cast to mouse event. Take all of them, yeah. Delete, delete, delete. You, sir, can do the same thing. Not just yet, though, because we need to do a switch. You, sir, can do the same thing. Say, type this first, I'm going to copy that. Handle, mouse, event, game, event, data, cast as a mouse event. And then grab that, grab that, grab that. Dink, dink. Gone. Nice. Okay. Edit the screen handles event is going to have to do something similar to that. Case.keyboard. Returns. Suspect I don't need that. Case.mouse. Handle mouse event game event data mouse event. So check these work. Stuff is working. Come back out. Do it again. Check exit works. Do it again. Check edit works. There we go. Exit click. Save click. Doesn't crash if I click that. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Handles a mouse event. That's why it doesn't blow up. So if you are clickable, I expect you must have an on click. Therefore, cool, 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 cool. Back to be an entity. No, but it will be the one place that uses this. Is there. To do next. I can hear noises upstairs. I'm going to have to run. Be back in a minute. And I'm back again. Right. To do next, I want to now make my pieces sit in all the right places. Now, it would be nice if I could do that in a loop rather than doing it super manually. The fact these don't take an argument may have been an error. Right, these only take game. Maybe they should have been able to take, like, a Void Star. They can cast to something else. Is that worth? Because if they could take a Void Star, they could cast something else. Then I could pass in an argument on each of these trivially to be like, it's one of these. So what I'll do for now, though, is I'm going to do a slightly gross block. So let's do edit piece on click. It'll take an int. And then I'll have a block of these. It'll just call through. Zero index. I think we might end up with using that index as a argument on a list later. Right, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we'll say here, but for now, you just format a print line, edit piece, click to N. Then we can point to these. In fact, then what I can do is edit piece on clicks. It can just be a list of those, right? It's a nice way to do this. So if I grab that, grab all of these, pop that into nya, grab line, which I can do more cleverly, like this. Those numbers aren't the same though. That. No? Is that not an option? There's one expression on the right hand side, got 8. How do I tell you what type you are? Sorry, I'm forgetting now. It's Odin. Oh, my throat's going. I swear I've had a cold non-stop for the longest time. How do I say pointer to a function? You just proc game? Are you proc pointer to game? Does that work? Oh. Basically, just going to be like a table I can point into to go and get the right function to call for the thing. Nice. That works. That could be quite neat. Let's come back to here. Right, so now instead of doing one at random, what do I want to say? I want to say for call in. I want to restart it. What happened? The OLS tech faulted. What did I do? It exited. Do you want to restart it? No. Okay, fine. Just go without. Still thinks it's working. Ah, God knows. So we're gonna have 2 columns. So for call in naught up to 1. And for row in 0, 2, it won't be to 7, it'll be to 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. What can I do then? Okay, we're going to go from bottom to top. So we want to say piece button pos is equal to a pos where x is equal to something, y is equal to something else. Y is probably easier because it only depends on which row you're in. Right, let me say piece index equal to I kind of want the top left to be 0. I mean, that's just the way my head worked. I want it to be like reading, but we're doing our logic from bottom to top. So I think our piece index wants to be 7 minus col 2 times row. Does that work? Is it that? Is it that? Let's see. So we're going to go rows. We're going to go like 0, 1, 2, 3. Col's going to go 0 and 1. Go through this. So 0, 0 would make that one 7. Don't think is what we want. And this one would be 7 minus 0. That would be 8. Okay. Make you 6. So 0, 0. That would be 6. We then move across. We get col makes that 7. We then go up 1. From 6 minus 2 is 4. That one is 5. Go up 1 again. 2 times row is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. We get 2 and 3. 0 and 1. And that's what we want. That's the number we should do. Sweet. And we're going to use that for calling through to our list of callbacks. Piece button pos is equal to save button pos. Oops, hang on. This is going to get a bit wordy, isn't it? Y is going to be at save button pos dot y plus text button dim dot h plus some number of vertical gaps. So plus a vertical gap. That gets you to here. And then your position is however many we've seen, piece button heights plus a vertical gap. Right, so if you're in 0, that's just you. Else you're 1 times that, else 2 times that, else 3 times that. So you're then plus row times piece button. I got a piece button dim somewhere. Piece button dim dot height plus vertical gap. your X position will be what? Right, so same kind of logic. You're going to start out at the same indentation as the text buttons. Do save button pos.x plus column times piece button dim dot width plus horizontal gap. So if it's 0, you just sit here, so your left side's in line with the save. Else we have one width plus the gap. And that gives us a grid. That doesn't seem too bad so far, does it? That gives us a position. We've got a dimension. We're just passing through whatever fulfilled at the minute. So we can now entity push piece button entity for piece button pos piece button dim and Garbo in there. Stack that off. Missed something somewhere. Oh, that's that one. That's that one. You match that. You match that. You match that. That 4. Oh no. What have we done wrong? Is it saying you're not matched to anything? Expected open got closed. Looks fine. Is this just my workspace dying? I don't know what its problem is. It seems fine. It's running. Doesn't it? Okay, so edit screen, populate entities, surface dim, set some parameters, set some more parameters, exit string, save string. I'll put some spaces between these just so they're easy to jot down. Then we add our text buttons, and then in here we add our piece buttons. Currently do not have any 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Currently we don't have any callbacks, but we can add that by, I don't know if this will give me a way to say start the server. Error processing message, opening thing. I don't know why it's trying to open HTTP for, but it doesn't seem to matter. Piece data, and an on click is a proc pointer to game. You can just look like that, can't you? On click equals on click. Means we need to go and add it to. It's all going wrong. This now needs an on-click. Proc pointer to game. Now means this should refuse to do anything. But if we come in here and we go edit piece on clicks for piece index. Piss. It didn't work. What did we do wrong? Come back to piece button entity. We need to make you clickable. Piece button entity is clickable on click. Is on click? It doesn't need wiring through to that. I'll take it back. Because the entity needs to know it's clickable, the drawable doesn't care. That's the reason. Alright, entities are still kind of aware of what they are in the game, whereas drawables are just shapes. Just a higher level thing than the vertices and indices. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Save and exit. Be beautiful. Kind of pleased with that actually. That's looking quite nice. What else are we gonna have to do? We need to add the grid. Do I have time to do that this morning? I might not have time to do that this morning. I think I said I'd do some tidying after getting these sorted. I think we're starting to get to the point where our code base is obviously a bit too messy. Do I have time to do that this morning? It is nearly 8. Thinking how I've been going. Hour and a half. Hour and a half's a decent video length, isn't it? I think I'm going to call it there then. That's a little chunk. We're back. We're back, boys. We're doing it. I'll try not to leave it for a month this time. I don't think this is actually that far off something that works. But hey, we're not at work. There's no time pressure. Just having fun. I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun. Cool. I will catch you in the next one. See you then.